Welcome back, everybody, to this IeSF 6 eSport World Championship. We are getting into Dota 2. We just got finished with a 3-0 sweep in StarCraft, and we're now going to get into the grand finals for Dota 2. We have a best of 5. I'm Capitalist. Joining me is going to be Zizou, the captain of Team Romania. Now, you guys are the big underdogs here. I mean, that is just like flat out. There's no other way to put it. You guys are the big underdogs, but you guys already defeated Team Newbie in what was a bit of a surprise for, well, pretty much everybody, but a lot of it came down to the Meepo pickup. It felt like that kind of caught Newbie off guard. Do you agree? Do you think you can actually stand on your own merits and don't need some sort of clutch pick like that to make the difference?
I think we really need a surprise pick. I mean, we know that in a best of 5 it's very hard to win against Newbie, but we will do our best and we will try to win.
All right, so maybe we're going to see something special. I'm holding you to this because earlier when we had the semifinals and we had the FinStack going up against Team Newbie, they said, oh, yes, we're going to hit Pudge. We're going to get Pudge. That's going to be our big surprise, and we never got a Pudge. So I'm holding you to this. You're going to give me a surprise pickup. So I'm just going to let you get back to your computer, man. Real quick, though, it seems like we've got a very Romanian support crowd here. Real quick, guys. Romanians, calm down, calm down. Well, I'll give you your shot. Hold on, hold on. All right, for those of you guys who are cheering for Team Newbie, give them some noise. All right, so we got our supporters here and there. And there's supporters for Team Romania. Give it up for Zizou and his crew. As you guys could probably hear, it's very favored for Team Romania. We'll see whether or not the crowd favoritism gives them that little bit of an edge up against the TI4 champions. That's going to be it. We're going to be passing it off now over to Toby1 and Durka. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Capitalist. Yes, myself, Toby1, and DOTA2 will be taking you through this best of 5 grand final. No winner's bracket advantage because there was no winner's bracket. It was a pure single elimination tournament. It wasn't the easiest run for China, Durka.
It really wasn't. They faltered a little bit in the group stages and were stuck in this 3-way tie where each team had
in fact, up against Romania, these 2 grand finalists came out of the same group, and Romania was the only team to take a game off China during that group stage.
Yeah, at the end of the night, Cap and I were here casting the final games, and there were the teams here asking, so who goes through? Initially, it was like, it looks like Mongolia and China going through, but then obviously did the maths of the time rating and ended up being Romania. So.
Well, they definitely they have impressed as we've been watching their performances here on the main stage through the quarterfinals and the semifinals. And now we'll see if Romania has what it takes to get themselves through the grand final and beat out the Chinese here at a LAN tournament, taking home the lion's share of the prize pool. $50,000 in total is being split between these teams. There's $25,000 for the first place. And really, I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with the drafting phase. We saw in the semifinal the way that they dealt with the Meepo was to battle it out in the first 2. I was talking to Zizou earlier today as far as like how the Chinese will approach it, and he doesn't actually think they're going to ban it.
No, I was wondering the same. I think China will let it through in the first game just to say, look, we've probably got something that can deal with this. If we beat you when you play Meepo, you've got no chance in the rest of the series. But I think Romania will come out with a couple more surprise picks. We saw quite an interesting strat from them over the series of the tournament, where they would run Spirit Breaker, Nature's Prophet, and just control the map during the laning phase rather than having really strong lanes with supports that roam. They just have Nature's Prophet TP in while there is a charge going.
But having those kind of drafts work against a team like Newbie, that's asking a hell of a lot, man. Because it's one of those things where maybe with those drafts, you can expose some weaknesses in teams. If Newbie play like they did on day number 1, then yes. Then yes, it will be very, very easy for that to happen. But the chances are Newbie, they are here for a grand final. They're here to play some Dota. They're not going to have those kind of problems and issues that they had before. And through the first part of our draft, Faces Void and Brewmaster, Romania take out the teamfight controllers. But Newbie actually focused on banning out the Tidehunter early on. I wasn't sure they were going to do this because I thought Newbie might have actually been looking for the Tide themselves.
Yeah, they really have favored that, but Rabbit's Batrider has been exceptional this tournament.
True.
And it looks like Meepo has been let through. We'll see if Team Romania go for it in their second pick. Jakiro has been their strongest pick throughout the tournament.
It's actually, you won't see it in the second pick. You won't see it in the second pick. Meepo, like when they picked it up against Team China, it was the 5th and final pickup, and that was after they knew they got a combo that would make it work. If you pick Meepo up too early, like if you can get Newbie to draft to battle against Meepo, like they try and get counter picks up against Meepo, and then you don't go for something completely different, then that goes in your favor. And you can also see if they've got what it takes to deal with the Meepo, which is normally winning on split push. In my mind right now, Team Romania, Jakiro comes up first, is what they've been doing as the offlane hero time and time again. The Nature's Prophet, even if you are going up against a Batrider, is probably going to be their second pick here.
Okay. And with that strat that they ran before, the fact that they were running down these lanes, finding pickoffs, I don't think it'll work against Newbie simply because they cut it so close. They had Spirit Breaker escaping on 50 HP 4 or 5 times just because he got that last hit in to try and get a bash. Nature's Prophet against a Batrider is okay, but the fact that he can jump over the Sprout, and with the 1-1-1 build we see coming from Synergy a lot of the time, I don't think it'll be that great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. While it might not be a great pickup, at this point I think Team Romania, they're going to focus on split push above anything else and actually get a Legion Commander. Picking him up in the second phase, or I should say her up in the second phase, which means they've got a good jumping controller, a nice momentum-based hero, and if we run this the way we believe it should be run, it'll be a Legion Commander safe lane here from Team Romania, which means they also reveal out 2 of their cores. Unless the surprise is the fact that Jakiro is in fact going to be a support Jakiro, which isn't something which we would be expecting considering Romania have run it as a core in every single one of their games here at IeSF.
Yeah. I think the only time that Zizzo hasn't played the off-lane Jakiro is when they had Synergy on Nature's Prophet. And, then they swap it around because he seems to be their natural off-lane player and Zizzo the captain and sort of 5-role playing Shadow Demon and things like that. Radiant Newbie, they know to ban the Dazzle. That's one of the key heroes there in that strat where they had the disruption into the Dazzle heal with the Meepo to combine with it later on in the game. It's the amount of damage you can get with the multiple targets on that heal.
At the same time, Meepo isn't heavily reliant on having someone like a Dazzle. Sure, it's fantastic, but it's not the be-all, end-all. And we also then open up for other combinations. If you want to go into it, you could try and run like Legions and Wisp together as well. Yeah. And then you've got these other combos available for Romania. And this is what I talk about when you run a lineup like Team Romania has throughout the competition. Like, it's been very obvious what they want to do. Like, you see the Jakiro Prophet, you bring in DK as well, and they try and force down towers. Then you get the ultimate split pushes with when you combine up the Meepo as well, and then you're like, oh, I got to deal with this. And then you draft against that. You take out the Dazzle and you pick up an Ancient Apparition of Batrider, so you've got a good jump-in controller, you've got a nice little global kind of guy that can help out with another initiation. But Team Romania can switch and do something completely different, and that catches Newbie off guard. And Newbie doesn't really know what to ban against this. Like, you take out a Viper in this case as well. I'm still feeling Team Romania will want to grab the DK in this matchup, and I'm wondering if Newbie did check out all of the games from the semi-final before. So or they're just banning out a more of like a, it's Viper, we can't roam and gank him.
So you want Romania to sort of bait Newbie into banning these heroes that defend towers really well and TP into defend, or have Ancient Apparition throw the Ice Blast across, and then switch it up and teleport to another lane, push the other lane, while Newbie is too busy defending?
Basically, yeah. Now, this game will be one on split push if Romania are going to take it. They forced Newbie to go into a bad trade. It was perfectly done up against the Russians, where the Russians like, okay, we want to play 5-man Dota, like we want to get in there and take a big fight, and then like, wait, no, for some reason, like we're getting pushed on the bottom lane. Why is this happening? You can have Weavers just chipping away at towers. You can have Nature's Prophets coming in with Necro units, and you're forced to come back every single time. And this is when, no matter how great your team fight can be, it doesn't succeed, because you can't actually implement it.
But we know China are very good at doing that themselves. With that Nagran Weaver we saw up against Finland, they were split pushing 2 side lanes, or top and bot, while Finland was sort of struggling to take 1 tier 2. Yeah,
but you look at the lineup coming out from Newbie right now. Like, you get a Rubik, you get an AA, you get a Batrider. Now, the synergy between the Rubik and the Ancient Apparition isn't really amazing, even though, sure, you can get Cold Feet as well as Telekinesis to help trigger together. Right now, this Newbie lineup is very reliant on not having early damage done to their lanes. And I'm talking like tier 1 towers to start with, but more importantly, still actually having space to find the levels over on Newbie, especially now you get a Morphling as well, who's like our 21-minute Lincoln Sphere guy, unless he gets like a mass amounts of kills, and then he'll start building into that like control damage dealing item. And this is a hero who has to have that kind of space. When you have a Legion Commander who'll be looking to get that Blink Dagger very early on and get a duel on that Morphling, and if they can get that timing right, then the Morphling gets dropped out. There's your Spirit Breaker again from Team Romania.
I'm worried about this now, because looking at the Rubik and Morphling, The Spirit Breaker charges in. Rubik can telekinesis him while he's in that.
Yep.
Morphling can waveform out of the Sprout when Nature's Prophet TP's in. So they've got a support and a carry who can deal with this rotation. So there's only going to be really the Ancient Apparition they can focus. Batrider has the Firefly. As long as that's off cooldown, he can try and escape from this gang.
Yeah, I'm with you on that front, and I know I've actually probably been pretty outspoken over the last couple of days as far as like the Spirit Breaker and its effectiveness because of this. And when you go up against so many stuns, there's so many ways to interrupt your charge. It doesn't really seem to make sense to grab it. But at the same time, you have to understand the Spirit Breaker pickup, it soaks up all of this. So if you want to actually force a defensive waveform, if you want to force a defensive Rubik telekinesis, if you want to force a defensive flame break, these are all these things that you've only got three. Those are the only three things right now which will stop a Spirit Breaker charge. And that frees up the Nature's Prophet, it frees up the Legion Commander. I should probably also say, no, you're not going to lasso a charging Spirit Breaker.
Not really.
Probably not the greatest idea in the world. But you look at that and it's like you free up a lot of space for your other cores. And that's what the Spirit Breaker is. He's a space creator.
Yeah, true. And then it does free up whatever Weeha's hero is. So he can go along with the Jakiro and try and take a tower on the other side of the map.
I'm actually surprised they ban out the Invoker themselves here. I know they don't want Mu to have it, because Mu's Invoker is just absolutely brilliant. And the Templar Assassin was the counter ban out against that. It really is just down to the mid lane heroes now. Who gets what and who gets the better advantage here, which technically you'd have to say, in a way, it is Romania. Romania have the better advantage because they can pick last, so they can pick up the counter pick if it's even possible against this newbie lineup.
Yeah, you've mentioned the DK, and we know that Meepo is still there, so depending on this last pick, they can definitely have their choice. I wonder if it will be a DK or not. We saw the power of that Quas Wex Invoker from Mu, though. That's absolutely ridiculous. And against this lineup in particular, very strong indeed. Tornado EMP just completely puts a stop to all of your aggression. Legion Commander, very reliant on mana, tries to cast her spells on allies to help them escape. Nature's Prophet, Spirit Breaker as well want to try and make that distance up. And if it is a DK, before his BKB, he's going to have no mana to cast anything.
Yeah, he's kind of going to be in a real rough position. And the DK is only going to work if he's going to win head-to-head. And I'm talking like win-win head-to-head, not just go even trade. Because the rest of Team Romania, like, you could technically just charge him with a Spirit Breaker, get a follow-up Dragon Tail stun, and then you got Breathe Fire, Prophet Sprout to control him for a while. So there's still kill potential from Team Romania onto that lane.
You know what would be really funny if Newbie picked Meepo in their 5th pick? I know it's not going to happen, but I think that would be hilarious.
It's a Lycan instead, actually, on the Radiant side. They're going to grab him up, which, in fact, can morph our lanes out a little bit, and pun was realized but not intended, where you could switch the Morphling in towards the mid lane, leave the Lycan on the safe lane. If they do want to run the DK in the mid, though, Lycan will be perfectly all right up against him.
Yeah, I think the Lycan would have a little bit of a problem against the Spirit Breaker charging in, Nature's Prophet TPing, because he doesn't have a natural escape. So I think you're right, Morphling mid, and then have the Lycan safe lane.
It's just a little bit more security more than anything else. And that's something which Nature's Prophet can't control. Like, he wants to TP in, and he sprouts, and Morphling waves out. So unless he's caught after his waveform, but even if that happens, you're still in range of your Tier 1 tower. You're still in a safe zone. Yeah, and Morphling Strength. Kind of got to remember that Morphling was always labeled as the guy with 4 different escape mechanisms. It's basically Adaptive Strike to knock them back. You got Waveform, you got Strength Morph, and you've got Replicate.
Yeah.
It's one of the very difficult heroes to kill. And then you add a Lycan in towards the mix. Lycan, I believe he'll actually outrun the Spirit Breaker. How does that movement speed add up?
Well, Lycan goes max movement speed, but the charge speed for Spirit Breaker goes 600, 650, 700, 750. So Spirit Breaker will be able to catch up. And he's gonna be maxing charge most likely. He goes for high levels in charge and bash, and then empowering haste later.
It's a Meepo. Romania is still going to give it a crack. And this does still work for them, because when you think about it, sure, you can isolate one Meepo with a lasso. The Ancient Apparition Blast could cause a little bit of problems for him, but at the same time, you can't send the cloned critical. That's one small little thing we'll note before we actually get into the game, is the fact that you actually have to send the original Meepo critical with the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast in order to get the kill. So it's not as bad as you might think with a Meepo up against the AA. But Weeha, there he is on now as we fondly know him as Weepo. He'll be taking up that role as the Meepo in the mid lane, which means we've got more defensive lanes up on the top, which is Legion Commander. The Jakiro will actually be played as a support role this time around, which is...
He's got boots first, he'll be off lane again.
He is. You're right.
Looks like it.
And Synergy, okay, so we're running Jungle Prophet. They're going to stick with it. They're going to stick with it.
But this time they get to play Meepo with it. Russia didn't let them have that in the 3 games they played up against them.
That's true. Now, this split push is going to get so hard for Newbie. Because they don't really have, like, okay, Morphling is fairly decent at doing split push because of the way you can work with Replicate.
They can't really clear creep waves, though.
No. Well, you got Feybolt and Firefly to probably do most of that work. But it could put you into a bad position as the Batrider, especially if you're using that before the team fight begins. So you miss out on that flying vision. Yeah. It's going to be one of those interesting games where I just want to see how the early laning phase goes, especially the effectiveness of these 2 guys here, Banana and Sunshine. Where do they move, and how effective are they in their movement? And are we also looking at, because How's in the middle lane here, they're running an aggro tri-lane with Lycan.
Well, if they've seen Romania's strat, and they've watched at least one of the replays, they know that they leave their lanes very weak because of the Spirit Breaker pick. So they know that if they're going to be going top lane aggressively, they're up against a Legion Commander and Spirit Breaker. And there's no real support there, so Legion won't get any farm. The mid lane, Morphling against Meepo, should be pretty even up between How and Weeha. And Jakiro bot up against the Batrider.
Now, Banana couldn't have got a better rune for that first one. He gets a haste rune, so he's just blocked up 2 camps with sentry wards, and then body blocks the 3rd as well. And this is when you're trying to run a jungle Prophet. And Prophet's got no other choice but to go to the Radiant jungle right now. But this Observer Ward will watch his movement, because obviously, you're a Prophet, you're going to get trees as the first thing.
That actually seems better for Team Romania, though, because he can go into the they spot him out, but he can go into the Radiant jungle. This means Batrider can't, sneak in there, make a stack, or clear a couple of the waves while the lane is pushed out. So that's going to limit the Batrider's farm. Also, he's under almost no threat from these 2 supports moving into his own jungle.
The danger is, though, when you start looking at this, is he's only got a Null Talisman and 2 Clarities. So how long he can stay there isn't really that long, because you're going to be forced back. You want to pick up those second Null Talismans to have an extra Clarity Potion flowing out to you. Unless you're picking up a Regeneration Rune in the bottom river, you can't really stay there. And that's where I'm feeling the problem is. As it seems we are just lagging up a little bit more on both Newbie as well as Team Romania.
Yeah.
Yes. as we also checking out our caster PC here, and we're going up to about 200 on the ping. So, Volvo, wonderful service again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think Reddit was full of EU West lagging.
Yeah, there was a lot of hatred recently. There was a lot of hatred.
Last week it was US East, now it's EU West. It's sort of going...
I don't know, but it's been EU West for me for like the last month and a half. Playing from home is almost impossible. Whoops.
Accident.
Yeah. So as far as Team Romania goes, they are still in a split push position, the early laning phase. If we did stop here, maybe it would be a bit of a downside for them. It might actually be an upside for them, because then if we had a remake and had to change towards the servers, you don't have that haste rune early on. You don't have the camps being blocked up early on. So there is a small advantage which you can pull out from that. But at the same time, Newbie is also ahead in the CS board. So another advantage which is currently there for the Chinese. 1 minute in, so it's not that much to write home about. But when your Morphling has managed to get 5 for 3 in that middle lane, he is very, very good. So yeah, we're still having to wait to see if the pings are going to settle themselves down. It's nothing local. In fact, we've actually had almost a flawless event here as far as production team goes.
We've had 1 moment of lag in another game, but apart from that, it's
been a very smooth event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apart from a weird guy who works in production at the back, he's got a headset on right now. Everything's been going quite flawlessly. You're trying to be nice about that?
But he's your friend, Toby.
Really? Is he really, Durka? Is he?
Well, I hear him whispering. The things he's saying to you, I hear them as well.
Whispering in our ears from backstage, as we hope Luxembourg will be able to settle itself down. So yeah, even your ping messages take like half a second before they even come back. So yeah, we'll have ourselves some lag problems. If we're Newbie right now, you're running an aggro tri lane, you're probably not going to find kills on this lane. What do you really attempt to do with this? What is the purpose of running an aggro tri lane with the Lycan?
You stop the Legion farming, So she's got nothing whatsoever. So there's no threat of an early Blink Dagger and duels up against you. That then limits the strength of the Spirit Break in Nature's Prophet because you don't have the initial Blink duel or you don't have the charge into Blink duel.
Yeah.
So the whole strat relies on Team Romania going one after another into a team fight, synchronized. So if that one of these heroes is knocked out of synchronization with the rest, that really can put a damper on things for them.
My issue when I'm looking at this top lane is, okay, so Newbie, sure, you can try and limit Team Romania, but what happens when Romania decides to commit? Like when they bring in a charging Spirit Breaker, a TPing Nature's Prophet, do you have enough survivability? Because you're still running an aggro tri-lane with a Rubik, Ancient Apparition, and Lycan. Now, Lycan might have Stout Shield as well as a Ring of Protection, so that's a little bit of survivability there, but he does not have ultimate. He doesn't have a way out of this one. Rubik, the telekinesis is the only thing that would stop that Spirit Breaker charge from being effective, and what's Sunshine really going to do here? You want to give Chilling Touch bonus damage to the rest of your team so they can inflict some damage into a Spirit Breaker that's got like a crap ton of life points, like it's 700 life points at level 1. What are you supposed to really do against that?
I'm just wondering if they send Rabbit up top at level 3. Because we've seen the Nature's Prophet hit level 3, teleportation after Nature's Call and Sprout.
Yes.
He starts teleporting around the map. If they let the Bat hit level 3, he's got boots, maybe just let him get Tranquil Boots. Maybe it's not level dependent. Get Tranquil Boots and then go to the top lane. He can lane up against the Bat Rider and the Legion Commander on his own and not die, possibly even turn it and get a kill on them. Then you have the Lycan on the safe lane, and the supports can stack and pull and start getting levels and gold themselves.
Yeah, and then Rubik and Ancient Apparition could do something which would then zone out the Jakiro, so you wouldn't then get Jakiro's higher levels. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. That's really what nobody should be looking to do. Early game contesting until the Bat Rider can be self-sufficient on the offlane.
Yeah. It's what we used to see quite a lot with heroes like Doxa and Bat. They would go to the offlane and think, okay, I'm getting nothing here. Go to the jungle until level 3 and Tranquil Boots, and then go back. So you're getting those initial levels, just like you said, allow you to self-sustain on the lane. And the ping, still not great, huh?
Yeah, it's still kind of high. I don't know if everyone's going to start reconnecting in. Luckily for us, it won't start affecting what we look at until it reaches over 300 and we start getting packet loss. But for us, it should be all right for now. But this now means too, like, we still have a moment where these guys are getting some momentum up. This is 1 minute in. The Chinese guys are like, yeah, okay, we got some stuff working now. And then you're going to hit a point too where Meepo, we get our secondary clones start to appear for him. And also, what kind of happens for this Meepo? He's only got 2 camps inside of his jungle that he can really work with.
Yeah.
That, like, the third one, which he really wants, which is the one which is close towards that mid lane, it doesn't exist for him. So what are you meant to be doing as this Meepo? Do you, I suppose he wouldn't be relying on it anyway, because the Nature's Prophet would have been taking most of the farm from there anyway.
But I wonder if the Nature's Prophet would have relied on these 2 camps here, the medium camps over to the left, and then swap into the small camp. And then you stack the large camp for the Meepo, and once he hits level 4 or 5 with level 3 poof, then he goes in there and clears the camp. Yeah. I'm not sure. But it is something that you really want on the Meepo, and you do sometimes rely heavily on, just to give you that burst of gold to finish your item. You might be sitting on 1800 gold and think, okay, I've got a large camp there, stacked up 4 times. I can finish my Blink Dagger 2 or 3 minutes earlier than you normally would have.
Do we also want to see a Blink Dagger on the Meepo when you look at the lineup from Newbie?
I'm not sure you go this early on.
You go like Blink Dagger as your second item.
Yeah. See, this is what I was talking about, synchronizing with the rest of the heroes. It's difficult to say. It depends.
Like if you get a blink over on the Legion Commander, then you'd think, hey, let's go double blink.
Yeah, but I think going for the Aghanim's just a stat up, so you aren't really threatened by the Bat Rider jumping on you and getting the lasso, because he doesn't need blink really. If he smokes up and finds you out of position, then he could catch you out.
All right, it looks like our pings have finally dropped. Yep, there it is. It's come down. So we're going to give this another try, and hopefully people stop spilling drinks onto the DOTA2 servers.
It wasn't me.
I swear it was not me. Well, that's one nice little thing for Legion Commander. Even though it's not fantastic, it's one way that she can find CS. And we've actually already got movement coming down. So Sunshine is going to make his way down here. The downside for him is that Nature's Prophet's inside of his jungle, so he doesn't actually have the pull spot. And Synergy's already doing his farm. Sunshine's not going to be in range when the Centaur dies, so the experience goes away with Synergy, and you'll just start pushing Sunshine out of this jungle.
I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't charge him there just to keep vision. Like, Spirit Breaker is making his way across, but as a solo support, you really don't want to be using up your gold by dying this early on.
I don't think you also want to have charge on cooldown. Like, I know it's only 12 seconds or so, but your mana pool, it doesn't allow you to do 2 charges. It's 182 on the mana pool, and it costs 100 to actually do it. So you kind of want to wait until the time is a little bit more right in the lane. And that is going to probably be a lot sooner, because Rabbit, he's now going up against level 2 Liquid Fire, which means this Bat Rider is going to start to burn through a lot more of his consumables.
This lane mid is really tough for Weeha. He's feeling the pressure up against Hao.
At the same time, though, Hao could just get completely destroyed at a moment's notice. You can have all the damage in the world, but with double Meepo poofs, as well as like the Earthbind, you could potentially just turn on to him with a large amount of burst damage.
Hao is always going to keep that wave 4 mana, though. He's been using it a little bit aggressively just to get some last hits and get in the face.
Here they come. There's going to be the charge on bottom lane. The Liquid Fire didn't actually go out, but the Nature's Prophet will come in. Nice Ice Path over onto Sunshine with the Dual Breath. There should be first blood on Sunshine, and it will be. The Cold Feet will still trap up the Illusionist as Rabbit put down the Firefly, burning into the live points of Team Romania, where they still get first blood on that support hero.
And they get pressure onto the tower. That's going to be a full creep wave. Jakiro, you going to go around the side for the Liquid Fire? Looks like you will.
They really need to get pressure on that tower. Look at the CS board, man. With 3 minutes in, you have a 14-10 Morphling and a 19-7 off-lane Lycan. They have to do something about this farm, and the only way they can really do it is by taking out these frontal towers and then starting the split push game. That's the only way this is really going to work for Team Romania. They're so far behind even when getting that first blood. But they're waiting it out. Nature's Prophet is still stuck in the bottom lane. I think he's actually going to TP himself back to base. Nope, we're going to go for another charge. This time it's over on Banana. He decides not to telekinesis. The Ice Path and Synergy. He did a grand TP of half an inch. And now Banana, well, he's ticking down with Liquid Fire. And it's going to be another kill going the way of Team Romania.
And the crowd goes wild.
The hardcore kids who did turn up today. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's your Earthbind control, just forcing Hao to waveform back out again. He'll move up for the 4-minute bounty rune up on the top lane, while the Invis rune will actually go the way of, well, who do they want to give this to? There's no point giving it to the Jakiro.
There's no one who needs it, really. And Mu has a TP. He'll probably go down to bot lane as soon as Rabbit's cleared these camps. Maybe just a large camp, heal up, go back to top, and then he'll take that lane. Because they've moved both supports down now. And there's no real point in having a defensive trial in with a Bat Rider.
Synergy, he committed so much to get that kill. Like the TP position, just so we can put it in perspective, he went from here to here. That's literally how far, and he can globally use that TP.
Yep.
And he also didn't have mana to even use the TP scroll to get back to base. He had to walk all the way back to base. Now picking up the double null talisman, TP scroll, and boots of speed. This allows him just to move so easily across the map, potentially snipe out or get out of danger after being over-aggressive. Middle lane, they really should have picked up that Invis rune now, because it's going to cause problems for Meepo. He's level 5, which is nice, but Banana's going to be looking for that pickup. The waveform damage, actually, do they really have enough to kill off Meepo?
It's level 3 Rubik now, he's got level 2 Fade Ball.
Okay, that might be enough. They bring in the extra Meepo, the stun, the Earthbind, waveform, he poofs up!
The Weeha Micro!
Very smartly done while up on top lane. The Bat Rider's going to go down the off lane.
That should have been a secure kill for Newbie.
It really should have been. But the problem was, like, he telekinesis, but he didn't control the other Meepo. He controlled the injured Meepo, but then the other one just walks back, poofs away. And with no extra stunts, this is where we come back down to another problem which has been very evident throughout this entire tournament. Where are your controlling abilities? Are they even there in time? And your supports have kind of gone for this. We'll just win you in team fight later with a little bit of extra control and nice abilities for steal, but you don't have it in the early stages, and that's where the Spirit Breaker really kicks in nicely.
Yeah, I think Newbie are going about this completely the wrong way. Like, Rabbit hasn't... Oh, now they do. Okay, I thought they're leaving the Legion Commander up here to farm, and sure, she hasn't had a great start, but Bottle and 500 gold now, that Blink Dagger isn't too far away.
Once that's up, you're going to start making more space, and that's when Meepo starts to function a lot better. Now, Banana is one Meepo. He's going to be picked up. The last two will have to be committed here, or else just poof away. So they'll hold him in position, and he's only got one option. That was to Earthbind in. But Meepo will go down in the middle lane. A good smoke rotation. It's the first time Lasso has been used, but it is taking a lot of time, and In the meantime, Moo on this bottom lane, this isn't the most favorable lane he's searching for. In fact, Illusionists, they're going to die pretty deep for this one. In fact, behind the T1 tower, with Sanji TPing in as well. Support's coming in from the Bow Runner, but there's no Lasso. Moo will be in control, brought down Zizou. The Cold Feast taking him out from Sunshake. The new tree's being created, trying to body block them up. He turned for one last attack, couldn't get it. Illusionists TPing out. There's no more stuns available. Sanji as well with the TP will not be in time. It'll be a 2-for-1 trade-off, but they just picked off the highest CSer over on Newbie.
And this is what I mean, against such a high caliber team, can you pull off the same strat where you charge and teleport in? And as soon as Moo realized he was being charged upon, he had the entire team pretty much just move straight down through their jungle, down with this lane. Even Hao giving up CS on that mid lane to come and save his teammates, but getting 2 kills and rebalancing the game.
This is what you have to do, though. Like, Team Romania has it right. You come in, you keep pressure on Newbie, you keep them moving across the lanes, and then with the other heroes, you get your timing items. Like, you get that Blink Dagger on the Legion Commander. You get Meepo with either his Aghanims or his Blink nice and early on. Everything else, they kind of know with their lineup. They can win later on just by decision-making, but they need to have these core items that give them the flexibility to make those decisions. And then eventually make that split push work.
How are we looking on hero levels? See, this is the thing. Meepo and Legion Commander both level 8, matching with the Morphling. But then you've got Batrider and Lycan level 7, whereas the Chikira's level 6. But that Spirit Breaker sat on level 3. Where does he find his levels apart from getting kills? He can't stack, he can't flash farm.
It's kills, man.
It's just kills.
It's all got to come down to kills. He just want to leech out of the experience because, like, right now on the bottom lane, like Zizou, he's getting very close to his level 4 Liquid Fire. And once this happens, the T1 tower on the top lane is gone. Like, that is what they will be forcing out very early on. And that's where the space gets created. Now, bottom lane Moo, he won't have to get charged here. The Wolves are going to cause some problems for the Jakiro, and he's realizing it too now that he just doesn't have the life points and survivability against these guys. But he knows what he's here for. It's levels. Nature's Prophet now up to level 6, so we have to include Wrath of Nature into our calculations for that burst magical damage coming out from Team Romania.
As Hao on the Morphling, what kind of item build do you go for? Because we have seen the Chinese really prioritize Lincolns even if there aren't too many single target.
You still have to go Lincolns up against the Legion in my mind. If you don't, you're just opening an invitation to die.
Yeah, because if you're stuck on max agi, you can't morph.
Exactly. You need that little bit of extra like warning. Because the blink into duel can be very, very quick. And when you also have Jakiro, like Jakiro is going to be looking to eSF for you as well. So there's all these different control abilities which are used to set up, and if you can just delay that by like a quarter of a second by having that Lincoln Sphere and then waiting for the next ability to come in, that's your escape mechanism, and that's the blow-on initiation of Team Romania. Which right now appears to be the most important thing to them. They have to be able to initiate.
Yeah, Legion is 200 gold away from that Blink Dagger now.
Yeah. I wonder if she'll head towards the bottom lane. We are. It's going to Earthbind up on the Morphling, who with the DD runes brought that mid tower down quite nicely. Yeah, but I'm wondering where do you try and attack? Does Legion Commander just try and do it solo? Like, you see a Rubik up on the top lane. Wrath of Nature might even just be enough damage to finish the job. I know Sanji will want a TP in.
I think next time they see him, they'll charge to keep the vision and then decide whether they want to teleport the Nature's Prophet in and then jump with the duel.
I would... Actually, yeah, just for vision would be enough. Just charge for vision. You go overwhelming odds. It's level 4. There's a lot of damage coming into the Rubik, who is still just a 2-3 build right now. So there's no extra magic resistance.
He's going to jump straight on Moo.
That'll be the best target. And he is open, and there's your charge coming. The duel will start. The macro pie gets need the damage to come out with the duel. Brett, the Ice Bar's going to come in too. The duel will not be won, but the kill is still going to be out there. And that is over on the Lycan. A lot of damage on the Jakiro. Is he going to... You know, he's fine. He's fine. He would have had to lose another 20 points of life.
Hao.
Now mid, yep, Meepo. Just poofing a short range, and Hao's hanging around here. He's got a replicate available.
Oh, if only we... Oh, we did have mana for another ensnare there.
It wouldn't have mattered with the replicate, because he would have just jumped away to safety.
Yeah.
But it had only 3 seconds left. That's why Hao was forcing the issue this early on. He's just going to come back to base. He heals up. He's already got his Ring of Aquila and 1,400 gold on this Morphling.
Rubik stole level 2 charge. Not the best skill as Rubik, really, but you can charge in, then telekinesis someone.
It's at least a way you can keep vision up as well. Maybe that's the other thing to do. See where Nature's Prophet runs. Because he could just TP globally, so maybe it won't be the greatest thing in the world. Because he doesn't get the bash. Because obviously doesn't have that passive for it to trigger. Right, how's that jungle still looking for the dire side? Like, we're not looking at any major stacks across the board. In fact, it's actually mud golems as well, which doesn't help your case. And I think Newbie's going to be ready for initiation.
Yeah, Rabbit has been really good at coming back down to clear these 2 camps here and gets his Blink Dagger in pretty good timing.
Which means 12 minutes in. Not too bad. It could have been better.
Well, seeing as he's bot lane for about 3 minutes and then just went straight into the jungle and was sort of like, okay, I've got to kill Meepo, I've got to roam around a little bit here and there. He never really sat on a lane after 3 minutes in. He's been doing stuff like this.
Look at him come. That item's arrived now for the Illusionist, but look at what they're doing too. Illusionist is realizing he's getting a lot of space on bottom lane, and this is one of those too obvious smoke ganks. It's around the same time as Batrider should be picking up his Blink Dagger. You got no one attacking anywhere across the map. The lanes aren't being pushed out apart from like a Lycan replica, which, like, the damage output's probably going to be flagging the fact that's not real.
And you haven't heard Hal be used in a long while.
Yeah. Observer Ward's going to scat out Zizou. But he just backs himself up, and by the looks of it, they buy up a smoke of their own. So Team Romania, they have level 6 coming up on Spirit Breaker. So that's actually a real fun thing for the Spirit Breaker to have already. The fact you've got that secondary hit coming up at the team fight, and he's already picked up the urn. They want to try and fight if they can, but only when they have the vision to know what's coming at them. And the Ice Blast actually scouting out for Roshan. They thought Team Romania might have just popped in there, but the Lycan Wolves are right in the tail of Legion Commander. Another problem which we haven't really flagged. Legion Commander using that Blink Dagger, very difficult when the Wolves are on your tail.
Yeah. They've actually got quite a lot to deal up against that Blink Dagger. As long as Rabbit knows that he can stay in the trees somewhere and they can scout out the Legion with those Wolves, he can jump on the Legion before she jumps on someone else.
The Wolves just brought down Legion's life to like half. But when you compress the attack, you can do so much more damage. And the bottom lane's going to pressure nicely. But up on top lane, Nubia going for the trade. They've got a Lycan up here with the Vladimir's offering. Give the Hal bonus damage. The tier 2 tower drops to half-life. Legion would love to jump in, but right now, there's a fake Lycan and a real Lycan and the rest of the team of Newbie. And they just wait for it. They let the tier 2 tower drop on the top lane. The fortification will be there. Does this really just become a tier 2 for tier 2 trade? Because Newbie won't let this happen. They've taken the tower already. Rabbit jumps up, sticky napalm, slowing down the Jakiro. He won't get in range for the lasso. And Team Romania will not stick around to battle it out either.
How, though, is Invis? Was looking for the Jakiro but couldn't find him. But Moo's been farming their jungle, so there's no way for... Well, Meepa's going to come and find him now. He could possibly take him down.
Oh, where's your mass poops coming in? Moo is going to be in a lot of trouble. In fact, down to 300 life points. The charge is going to make his way in, and they will get the kill on Moo. Overstaying is welcome inside the jungle. And Team Romania, they don't care if there's aggressive observer wards here. You got to just Prophet that can TP and an SB that can charge. They come very quick and fast. And now they're keeping going towards the middle lane. Another charge, this time over on Rabbit. He doesn't want to try and lasso. In fact, there goes your bash. Is he going to go? Yeah, there's your ulti being used, and Illusionist.
Amazing stuff from Team Romania.
They're just moving nicely. And they're moving at the right time as well, because they're able to get these kills, and you've got urn charges now coming in as well for the Spirit Breaker.
And they're not making any mistakes. They aren't cutting it as close as they were against Team Russia. They, like you said, they know exactly when to engage.
Yep. And now they might be in a little bit more trouble. They overstay their welcome. Zizou, okay, it's a level 1 Ice Blast only, so he shouldn't go lethal from this, but the duel starts over on Sunshine. Rubik, pick him up, throw him back. Makino is going to walk back in again, but it means the duel is still going to be lost. It will be Sunshine's dead, however, and Banana being charged up. The Sprout controlling 3 euros with the Ice Path follow-up. He's on low life, but he's still stuck around. CNG can't TP out in time. They will be able to survive here. But Team Romania, they are still forcing the issue time and time again.
And they've still got a Meepo.
Well,
he's only died once.
It's the split push power. They make the space for him, and they just keep that split push power going. And we've got Meepo bouncing back out of here. Oh, hello. That's, no, he just left himself behind. But it's nagging himself to Meepo 15 minutes in, who will probably be looking for that Blink Dagger as his next core item. And instantly, Jakiro also back down to that bottom lane. His Yule Scepter is finally completed, so Team Romania have a secondary setup.
But you are looking at Hao, who has nearly completed Lincoln Sphere. Isn't too far off, what, 300 or so gold away from that now?
When you think about it, what if they really got the Contrigger out the Lincoln Sphere? Like, if they need to, they could use... Well,
I'm not sure if Charge still does it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I'm thinking you could just use Sprout, but then again, as you saw in the last fight, Sprout's rather effective for controlling up a lot of the newbie heroes. especially a Lycan who, I know he's running around with a Quelling Blade. That won't control him. There's a lot of Meepo in the trees. That Yule Scepter isn't up yet, but they're hoping to find Rabbit somewhere here.
And Lycan's for going the Necro, going for a BKB. He doesn't want to be caught out by the Ensnare move again.
Well, it's also that thing. It's magical damage. That's where Meepo is capable of killing him off. The physical damage in the late game of Team Romania is actually quite nice, but only if you're able to win duels. Like, we have a level 11 Legion Commander that hasn't won a single duel yet. This is very, very problematic. And while Team Romania are doing this little Roshan thing, it's you got Newbie still looking towards the other lanes. There's Illusionist up on the top lane. He'll charge himself down. Hao's trying to force out the mid, but this is where the action really is. And they've got it. The Lycan Wolf, oh, he's going to be careful with this. The Wolf's in there, and what's he going to get? Meepo picks up the Aegis Immortal, and it will be taken by the Dire side. So there's no advantage to be gained by that Wolf going in. They'll all just poof themselves away to safety. So a good Roshan from Team Romania.
130 CS on Hao, but does it even matter?
It does in a way, mainly because Hao's able to get into his damage dealing item a lot earlier. And like I was flagging 21 to 22 minutes for that Lincoln Sphere before, which would be a semi-standard time for a Morphling. But when you're able to get it this early on, you can get into that burst damage, or you can get into more survivability. Now you got a BKB coming in for the Lycan, but if you get a Mana Style also over on the Morphling, getting the instant kill on him is very, very difficult.
I think you go back and go for E-Blade. Like, you have to be thinking about single target against Meepo. It's also pretty good against Legion if you can catch her out, put her into that ethereal form, but also do a massive amount of damage. Then you've got Ice Blast, Waveform, Fade Bolt, Batrider.
I can understand going E-Blade up against him, but the problem is it's going to wear off in its effectiveness. The better thing for me would probably be get a Mana Style and get yourself into that Skadi and then just outlast them. And you win by maneuverability, which is the way Newbie has won so many games.
Later on in the game, you can always disassemble the E-Blade into Butterfly, because you get that Eagle Song back.
Oh, that's true. Morphling, Waveform, and then Replicate Jump. They had to be really quick on that if that was going to work. And again, you're still going up against Lincoln Sphere. That's why Morphling was so over-aggressive on that top lane. A 19-minute BKB has arrived.
Still pretty damn close. I mean, net worth, there's almost nothing in it whatsoever. XP-wise, Team Romania are in the lead. This Meepo has been all across the map, farming 2 or 3 lanes at once, plus jungle. Even when they were pushing the bot tier 2, he had 1 mid and then 1 going into the jungle, while the other 2 were at bot.
Synergy is still going for this Trip Null Talisman build.
Of course.
He refuses to change his mind on this.
Newbie, I've got no idea what this build is.
It's not logical. That's what it is.
Where's your Midas, dude?
It's not logical. It's just allowing him to fight early on. If he went Midas, he couldn't be involved in these engagements. Yeah. That's his problem right there. And that's the reason why you do see him, and like logically wise for Synergy, it makes a lot of sense. To get the Trip Null Talismans, you get a large amount of life points, you got a good mana pool to actually work with. So it's not just a TP in. Well done, Durka.
I keep forgetting that works in spectator mode.
It's not just, oh, hello bottom lane. There's your jump in. It's over on the Meepo. There's a large amount of also coming in. Earthbind over on Rabbit. Support needs to get in there. The Ice Blast. It's on most of Team Romania. Support's going to come into Illusionist. He's being slowed down right now with the Vortex and Cold Feet locked in. Weepo, he'll die, but remember, it's the Aegis Immortal. There is the winner, but it's the Lycan hitting back. Moving over to Zizu. The Ice Path will be there, but how much damage now can the Meepo do? The mass proofs into Hao. He waveforms down. They get the revenge kill again. Team Romania, they managed to burn the Aegis, and they haven't really gotten much for it. The Batrider and the Rubik only. They're trying to get closer. Waveform in 1 second time, and Zizu turned for a moment, which means the Waveform's going to be in range. The Yulset will try and protect him, but it won't work. The Lycan Wolves are next to him, and Jakiro will die here on the bottom lane. It's a full team wipe in favor of China, and a tier 1 tower to boot.
Oh man, Moo just runs in there, puts his BKB on, and swipes that Legion commander into the ground.
She really thought a duel was going to work then. Problem is now you're just giving 14 bonus points, bonus damage to a Lycan.
And that puts Hao on 3.4 thousand gold. Synergy, I'm not sure this is where you want to be.
No, it is not. He is a long way down. The Lincoln Sphere is going to be triggered already.
By the charge.
Yep.
So that does work.
And that's going to be also Hao. Look, he's still going to go on the chase. The Sprout, where's the vision? They need to cut through it somehow, and they won't get there in time.
He could have waveformed in an adaptive strike. And then
Batrider. That blink, it's on cooldown for 7 more seconds. They got the charge over on Rabbit, so he'll come up towards the hill. 2 seconds, the charge still keeps going, and Illusius, that's problematic. The Ice Blast actually connect on him, and he has to TP himself out. There's no choice. He's way too deep. While Hal now battling, he jumped into the replicant on top of Weeha. That Meepo's low waveform up. They got the kill on him.
And this is what I was saying. They let Team Romania have the Meepo. They were doing so well until these last couple of minutes.
It was just that fight on bottom lane. The second the Meepo got caught out in the bottom lane, they thought they had the damage output, and the BKB from Ru was the perfect timing. Without that, they would have kept going the way they were.
Plus the Ice Blast on, 2-3 heroes with a Firefly everywhere. They couldn't get out of a damage source, so they were continually ticking down and down.
You couldn't even walk away. You're getting sticky napalmed as well as Vortex. That's a lot of slow being added into a lineup that has to heavily rely on maneuverability.
What's Mood buying with the Gloves of Haste?
I would love to actually see. I was just going to think Basher.
You don't, Toby, you okay?
No.
Gloves of Haste, Basher.
Love it, love it, man, love it.
Oh, he goes for Armlet.
It could be Armlet.
He's actually just finished it. And that Legion Commander caught out by Rabbit, the Blink Lasso.
Ow. That's just not pretty, man. That's just not pretty. And the Courier, okay, the Radiant Courier at least got sniped out. So Nature's Prophet going to work right there, I assume, as yeah, it actually had the Ghost Scepter on it, so it had Hal's Ghost Scepter. That would have actually been his E-Blade. Yeah. He's 300 gold away from having the Eagle Song. A nice path now stolen by Rubik, so a second control ability. Newbie desperately needs some of those. And they jump out. Illusionist is outside the base, pumping him back down again. That's the ice path from the Rubik. 4-staff Rabbit up on the high ground. Not exactly where he wants to be, and now Meepo comes in. Good poops and Earthbinds. How much more damage? Sunshine will drop. So will the Bat Rider. The ice path again. It controls them. It's a crisscross right now. Waveform up. Synergy. How? His damage output is just ridiculous. And he's one hit into Synergy. He got him. It's not enough. 6 life points. He'll survive inside the Sprout, but the battle will continue. The ice path from Zizu. Earthbind into Moo. He can't go anywhere. They've got too much control over him. Team Romania hit back hard. Can they catch up to more? Blink is off cooldown. He's up next to Banana. Let the poofs begin. They'll all come in, and the Rubik is going to get destroyed. He had one ice path, but the damage was already done. Team Romania defend their high ground and hit back hard.
Oh, it looked really bad when that Legion Commander got picked off, and Newbie weren't afraid to go for the tier 3. Yeah. And it looked like, okay, it's going to be great for them. They're going to maybe even get racks here. There's very oh, wow. Synergy, where were you?
He was taking out the tier 1 tower in the top lane, and Hal just TP'd in. The adapters waveformed into... Oh, Rabbit, hello, goodbye. Bottom lane, poof, 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 poof. Where is it? And he's just going to man mode him down. One poof, and just beats him into the deck. But this is still, we are having to expend a lot of life points in order to get this. And it looks like he's going to go straight into, I'm going to assume that could be a Scythe.
Yeah, he did it in the other games, and up against heroes like Lycan with the BKB, that's going to be great for him.
Would it almost be worthwhile also looking in towards the Skadi early on? Considering you got a lot of burst damage coming out from the Morphling shortly. In fact, 1 minute shortly.
It depends how you're feeling this game is going, because from our perspective, obviously, it's quite back and forth. We don't know who's going to be able to take this game. If you think you're behind, I feel that you go for the Hex just to give that extra bit of momentum. It's really a table turner, where you can find one pick off, and that crushes Newbie. If you feel like you're a little bit ahead, you go for the Skadi just to tank up and man fight up against the Morphling and the Lycan, because you know you can kill them. It's just whether or not you can survive against the Ice Blast and the Sticky Napalm Firefly.
Team Romania, they're wanting to go back on the hunt again. At the same time, it's a hunt for only one hero. They don't want to have the entire team of Newbie sitting right behind him. The rest of it comes down to the split push power. And that is where they're meant to be winning this game, remember. Making sure that the trade isn't worth it.
When does that courier respawn? About 10 seconds for that E-Blade.
Yeah, and the armlet was fully done for Lycan, and he has a plate mail to boot. So that's a lot of armor, 27 points of it to get through.
That's a really good idea, actually. I didn't think about that. Armlet up against Meepo. The expenses poofs, and then you just toggle Armlet. It's going to be a little bit difficult to time it with, what, there's 5 guys hitting you at the same time?
Yeah, that's a little bit more difficult, but at the same time, if you could just get into the brawl from the very, very get-go, you're kind of good on that front. The E-Blade is up and running. Banana, they've been waiting for this for so long. Because Legion Commander still has no bonus damage from duel. She hasn't had one successful duel in 26 minutes. This is so problematic for her.
Yeah, they've been using it as their primary form of initiation, allowing the charge and the Nature's Prophet to catch up.
Yep, but the problem then is you're not finding that extra physical damage which you really want. Sure, you might pick up some earn charges so you can add some pure damage into the mix, But beyond that, your Legion Commander just isn't that powerhouse you really wanted her to be. It puts more pressure on the back of the Meepo, who can get more and more focused down as time goes by. In fact, he's going to bring his last Meepo off. He's been keeping that Meepo in the trees in the bottom lane for a long time. Waiting to just see if he can keep the pressure slowly on the bottom lane, then back up the Meepo, then TP himself back down again. But it's dangerous to do that kind of stuff when you can have Lycan Wolves also looking in those tree lines, searching out for the Meepo.
Both teams waiting for that Roche to respawn. There was a wolf and a treant in there.
Won't take long for him. He's just under a minute now before Roshan will be back up. Team Romania are obviously going to be a hell of a lot... Well, I'm going to say actually not even a hell of a lot faster at bringing him down. Both teams are very quick at it. And both teams don't really have that big AoE which would scare you enough that you wouldn't go in to try and contest it or go in for Roshan himself at the very, very start. Like if you had something like a Chrono, if you had like a Black Hole, if you had some kind of like EMP Tornado combo, that'll make you a little bit more cautious about things. But it's just not there. Legion Commander, oh, she wants free gold. She doesn't know where everyone else is though. Like where's the vision of the Dire side over on the Radiant?
I was really expecting Rabbit to go straight into a BKB up against the Meepo. The amount of times he's been caught out where he's blinked in and got ensnared and couldn't drag anyone out, but he's gone for a Ghost Scepter.
Yeah. Not really what you'd be looking for. How? Okay, not. Whoa, there's your E-Blade. The Meepo is still alive at the moment. Unfortunately for him, once Hao does attack in with the E-Blade, he can't do anything else. Because he can't melee attack into him. He needs a follow-up magical damager with him. And Legion is a way to safety. Okay, this is ballsy. They see the Jakiro up on the top lane, and that's the reason why they just want to jump in here quickly. But that's not going to last for long. In fact, there it is already. With the pressure on the top lane, Team Romania, they know what's going on here. Yeah. The Ice Path will come in. It stops Roshan from being done. Into the Firefly now from Rabbit. Trying to beat that extra eyes and ears for the team. Blink up Lasso. We've already got the jump in right now. It's Kino, but Legion Commander, way too late. Roshan was killed by the Radiant side. Like it as the Aegis Immortal. And you got Jakiro caught up on top of a hillside. The Ice Path can fly out, they'll catch out too, but he's still burning the Firefly with the Cold Feet as well. There's enough damage. He dish out as much as he can before death. But up on the top lane at the same time, you got Meepo as well as Nature's Prophet forcing the issue onto the Tier 2 tower, burning the fortification, and they will still take the tower. Morphlin, Ancient Apparition can't do anything against this. Yeah,
I'm not even sure why the Legion jumped in there, maybe just to try and steal it. But there was no way they're taking engagement there. And you've got to remember the Meepo is one of those weird heroes that doesn't have 25% magic resist. He's got 35. I think Visage is the only one with, what, 17.5 or something without Gravekeeper's Cloak. Toby shrugs his shoulders. I haven't got a freaking clue.
Don't ask me mechanic questions. I can't even tell the difference between a Basher and an Armlet. Sad thing is, Armlet was on my mind with that, because I'm a huge fan of the Resolution build. It was him in my mind that created that. Yeah. All right, so 16-17 in. You've got 5.5k net worth up, just over 3.5k as well in the experience going the way of Newbie. But really, this game, I kind of want to say this is probably the last time I want to bring these graphs up because they mean jack all from now on. This is all about push power. Okay, that's commitment.
That poor Illusion.
Fake Spirit Breaker. Illusionist is just on a mission to get vision. This is what it's all about for Romania. They need to know where Newbie is at all times. Illusionist will actually be dead. Elias will drag him back up to the Ancients and in range of Mu and Hal.
Can't charge. He actually did start casting charge. It went on cooldown, but they killed him far too quickly.
His wards are also instantly dewarded.
He had a gem?
Yeah, he had a gem.
Oh dear.
He had a gem from the start. He handed it over now, so it's in the hands of Rabbit. Problematic. But Team Romania, they've the vision game is just so they know where Newbie is moving. The rest of it comes down to forcing out the lanes. Now, Meepo, the hilarious thing is that replicate actually meant he didn't get hit by the Ice Blast. And that is the core Meepo as well.
Yeah, he just went up and hexed it.
They're going to fight. Jump in. It's over on Meepo. He's not out of here at the moment. He needs more help. The charge coming in on Rabbit. The Earthbind's going to hold him here. And where's your proofs out? He's actually still being stunned and locked. Where's the kill? Finally, the Ice Pass. Mu will get through him with a BKB. So Meepo is down. Charge still on Rabbit. Sinji will TP himself out to safety. The Rubik not looking too healthy, but where's your extra help? In comes Illusionist. Goes in, gets the bash over on Rabbit. Trying to go for the off. The Ice Pass from Banana actually cancels his last attack. He won't get the kill. The Legion is dying in the meantime because Hal is basically going man mode up the mid. He's taking tier 3 tower, he's taking melee racks, and he's got more support coming his way. He's got Replicant. They can't kill him. He'll jump out, waveforms down, and then Replicant's out. Newbie is moving so beautifully across this map. The trade-offs are not going the way of Romania at all.
Rabbit and Banana on that bot lane, though, the health they dropped to. The fact that Necro unit, I think it was level 2 Necro from the Nature's Prophet, was running around in the fire. Banana dropped to about 100 HP when he killed it by accident.
Not enough trouble, though. The Lycan's going to trigger his ulti. He's going to soul cure us now. These towers, they're going to drop like flies. Rabbit's keeping the vision up. The Ice Blast. Zizu actually hung around a little bit too long. A 4-star with the lasso. There it is with a Blink Dagger 2. They're going to get the kill over on the Jakiro. And that's the final outer tower down. The mid melee racks is down. So Team Romania have to force extra heroes to try and defend against this. But I don't think Newbie's going to care. Newbie's probably just going to wait the timer out and then just force up the bottom lane when they're ready to go. If they can catch out a hero, they'll do that as well. Is that a D-ward from Illusionist? Okay.
But he can't get up there to take it.
He needs his creeps to turn around and attack that. The Triads will do the job.
They won't last long enough.
No, they won't. And that just means they bring the gem in towards the mid lane. They'll get rid of that sentry ward. So there's no way to actually keep the vision here. As Meepo, he's just backing up. It's a level 22 Meepo, but really, what's he doing? He's got a Scythe of Vice, but unless he gets that Hex off on the Lycan, before he BKBs, they don't get anything. And even now, he's got Nagus Immortal behind him.
And you can't really jump in and Hex How unless you have the initial charge. I guess you can always charge to break the Lincolns and then blink in and Hex, but How is going to realize, oh, my Lincolns has been popped. I better get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And now, Sanji, quick on that blink. Into the trees and away to safety and very far out of reach of How.
Rabbit has his BKB completed, even harder to kill him. When I saw in the bot lane, that Ghost Scepter really did work out better than I expected, because we hard jumped on him and thought that, okay, I can snare him once and then just hit him. And Rabbit popped the Ghost Scepter. It was kind of hard to realize with all the Firefly and all your Meepos around. I just started running down this way, giving more time for the rest of his team to come in. But with that BKB, it's going to be almost impossible for the Meepo to jump him.
Yeah, and Skadi is almost done for Morphling. It's going to flag that one right now. He's one ultimate orb into it, but still has 2.5k gold on him. That's with the E-Blade, that's with the Lincoln Spear and BKB. I actually don't think they can kill Morphling right now. No matter how much they commit, they just can't find a kill. Because they're going to get interrupted all the time. The BKB is still not there for the Legion Commander. The Spirit Breaker hasn't bought a new item in the last 20 minutes. You've got a Nature's Prophet who's sure he's got a level 3 Necro unit.
But how can he get close to their base?
No, he can't. He can't. And in fact, the Necro unit, you can't even look at it as a mana burner. Because the Ancient Apparition, he's got enough mana pool. I think everyone's got more than enough mana pool to do whatever the hell they want to.
Or BKBs. And if you just watch Sansheng while they're not fighting, he's just throwing ultis around everywhere. So Nature's Prophet, no matter how hard he pushes with the Jakiro, AA is just going to send an ultimate toss.
Stay in the trees. Stay in the trees.
It's not safe in the trees.
Rabbit's just looking for a jump position and just shows himself as he Fireflies over. But what are they going to do? I think Team Romania realized they can't fight, but now you got a blink BKB. Rabbit couldn't get the lasso off. If he did, that could have been game. But then Jakiro loses half life with just 2 swipes from Nu. He hits back down the deck. There is the Earthbind, the duel over on Hal. Illusion so just getting destroyed with Hal's waveform up. The Legion and NSP down. Meepo will come into the fight. Nice Earthbind's over on Nu, but he doesn't have any great follow-up damage. The 4-star up. They're trying to just be more positional, and Hal, he's got himself an ultra kill. He's going to pick him up as the last one. The Lycan might have dropped. He's trying to battle up against the Meepo, and it doesn't actually get it. The Bad Rider will take the kill. Meepo will buy it back. Maybe he's skipping the option. The proof's in. There's no waveform out. That's why he has to TP out, Hal. But he'll want to come back as quick as he possibly can as that. Oh, wow, the cold feet is holding Meepo there. That's GG. They've lost too many heroes. They've lost bottom racks, and Team Newbie will take game 1.
This is Newbie saying to Romania, you can have your Meepo and we'll play up against it. We've seen it in a game earlier in the group stages, and we know that you're good with it. But up against these heroes, up against Hal farming like an absolute madman, going over 22k net worth in what, 27 minutes, 30 minutes?
That game just didn't work for Romania. I want to say primarily because the lane control was gone. You had an offlane Lycan who was getting so much farm, the Morphling got so much farm, and your Legion Commander didn't really pay off. I think that's what a big part of it came down to as well. There wasn't enough intimidation coming out from the lanes. You get a Meepo, but you got to make space. But the space creators were from Spirit Breaker. It didn't come from anyone else. You had to wait for Legion Commander to be able to force the space. And Jakiro never really got anywhere near that tier 1 tower. He wasn't much of a presence down there because the Battle Rider was still capable of making sure that he couldn't move up easily. And Newbie played it perfectly. The lanes were strong. Their play was good. Their coordination ended up just being easy. They could have actually done whatever the hell they wanted to in that last fight, and it wouldn't have mattered at all. But either way, Newbie looking good. Romania, 1 game down here in the grand final, and will we have the domination of the nations? We already had Korea destroy StarCraft. Will China... I don't want to say destroy, but will China take out the Dota 2 competition? We'll find out after this break.